Ready to hit publish on your group coaching program sales page? Then you're in the right place. In this video, I'll walk you through the exact legal documents and policies that you need in place to be sure that you can run and grow your group program without any kind of payment drama, content thieves, community issues, and more. As always, be sure to like and subscribe because we're in the middle of our group coaching legally series. Coming up next, we're going to talk about why your pricing needs to be what it is in the group setting compared to, let's say, a course, as well as how your support coaches and guest experts are actually a really great source of legal protection for you and not just something that you can add into the program for extra value. All right, when it comes to launching your group coaching program, we have a few important considerations in mind. We always want to be protecting your own energy and sanity, as well as complying with your legal requirements, as well as protecting your content and your community and your reputation, which really comes down to having happy clients who actually get transformational results in a group setting. So all of the things that we're going to talk about in this video go towards one or more of those things. If you have questions or you're a little confused about what all of those might be, I do highly encourage you to check out the link below. Pick a convenient time for you to watch Meeting with My Lawyer, and I'll walk you through exactly what you're looking for in any type of program that you offer, so this will become completely intuitive to you. Now, when it comes to your group coaching program, most people are still having some sort of sales page online, even if they're taking sales calls and taking money over the phone. Anytime you have an online presence that includes marketing messages, you have to have three things. That's your privacy policy, which lets your page visitors understand what kind of information that you're collecting and what you're going to do with it. Most importantly, it also gives them instructions for how to be unsubscribed or forgotten. You can sign up for Legal in a Weekend, which you'll find links all over this channel, and you can get my privacy policy template totally free. You'll also want to have terms and conditions. This is all about how people can use the material on your pages. Eventually you're going to be in a contractual relationship with the people who purchase from you. But what about everybody else, which is the vast majority of people? We still want to make sure that they understand when they're visiting your pages that they are not to rip off your content or do anything to interfere with the delivery of your pages. So terms and conditions are something that you want to have in the footer of your website across the board. Quick note here, sometimes people use terms and conditions or T's and C's, meaning a client contract. Those are two different things. So we'll come to the client contract here in a minute. Finally, when it comes to across the board legal protection, you're going to want to have a disclaimer. This is a document that helps your buyers understand that while you may be a miracle worker, they do still need to understand that there is a process that they need to go through from point A to point B. And in doing that process, there's going to be effort required on their part. The other thing about your disclaimer is it helps them understand what coaching is versus what they may need in terms of professional assistance from someone who's licensed in the same or an adjacent field. For example, this could be that if you're a health coach, you're not a doctor. You're not going to diagnose and cure any kind of medical diseases. If you are in the money or a business space, this doesn't mean that you're going to provide tax, investing, or accounting advice or services. You get the picture. So that's your privacy policy, your terms and conditions, and your disclaimer. Now, when it comes to the group program itself, you're going to want to have a client agreement. Your client agreement is going to cover a few different things beyond just the fact that a person is going to pay you a specific amount of money and you're going to deliver a program. You want to be sure that this agreement addresses other things too, like what happens if your client does not complete their payment plan, what your refund terms are, what they can do with the content inside the program, how long they have access to it, and notifying them that they are going to be in a group setting where you do not necessarily have control over what the other participants do with the information that is shared. Many group coaching programs also include recorded calls, so you'll want to let your audience know or your clients know whether those calls are going to be available to later cohorts or people who sign up for the program later. This may change what they choose to share on your calls. Now, the program price of under $2,000, I would say that having a check the box on the order form is just fine. We have a whole video about order form legalities that you can check out if you're signing someone up for over $2,000 and or you're signing up somebody who's going to also be getting some one-on-one access to you. I do encourage you to have the terms and conditions of their purchase on the order form so that they can see what that contract is going to say before they pay. And then after they pay, send the contract to them for an e-signature. This is just an extra layer of acquainting them with what they're agreeing to, and it shows how they were committed to taking the steps and agreeing to these terms to be a part of the program. So that's your client agreement or your terms of purchase, depending on whether you send it as an e-signature or have them check the box on an order form. The checking of the box on the order form is totally fine, by the way. With a higher priced program, people are going to be more likely to heavily consider the purchase, and having them sign the document separately is an indication that they did that. So they don't get cold feet and try to back out and say they didn't know what they were getting into. That's one way to protect your business with higher price points that may cause more of a disruption if somebody chooses not to fulfill or that they want to get out of their payment plan entirely. Those are things just to keep in mind from a practical standpoint about other benefits of having that client agreement signed beyond any kind of legal requirement to do so. Now, as I talked about in our prior video about what I'm seeing inside of group coaching programs, as you know, I don't consider it a group coaching program if there's an in-person component. Instead, that's going to be more of a mastermind or a live event, and we have additional things that we're worried about. So I'm not going to touch on those in this video because I'm assuming that this is not included in your group program. But what is often included in a group program to help you make sure that your customers are still getting results and that they're getting that human support, even though they're not in a one-on-one setting, is through support coaches or guest experts. Now, when it comes to support coaches, they are most often going to be working for you as an employee or an independent contractor. That decision is one that we'll talk about in a different video. But however they are retained by you, you want to make sure that you have something in writing with them so that they understand how much support they have to provide and when, as well as the same thing for your clients. They need to understand if they're being recorded or if they create work product for the program, if it's going to stay with the program, and if later cohorts will have access to that. You will also want to talk to them and your guest experts about the fact of whether you're allowed to promote the fact that this person is a support coach or a guest expert in your program. So you'll want to stay tuned for our next video because we're going to talk about all the details that go into what it takes to have really peaceful relationships with your support coaches and guest experts, including how having those relationships really nailed down are a huge source of legal protection for you when it comes to any disputes with your clients. So stay tuned. Now, the final piece of a group program that's radically different from a course or any kind of one-on-one coaching is the fact that your customers have an opportunity to interact with each other and have relationships with each other. So there's a few things that we want to be careful about here because the group program is not a place where you need to be, the enforcer on the schoolyard, making sure that everybody behaves and acts appropriately. I highly encourage you to have a set of group rules that addresses the fact of no promotions, confidentiality, and a code of conduct, how you will handle disagreements in the group, what topics are appropriate for discussion there, and letting people know that they cannot be using the group as a place to air grievances against other members when something in those relationships goes wrong. They need to be vetting the people that they do business with, and the fact that somebody's in your program is not vetting. That doesn't count. You're not vouching for anyone or endorsing anyone just because they're in your group. Finally, a little known thing that you need to be concerned about is that no one should be posting affiliate links in your group. There's a whole bunch of things that you have to do for affiliate links to be legal, and you do not want your clients breaking those rules on your turf or under your watch. So group rules are a huge difference about what we have in place when we have any kind of group. That's including a mastermind or a live event, but in particular in a group coaching setting, it's so important because the work is often done together, and that's on calls or Zooms or even just in a Facebook group or school community or what have you. So the group roles are something you definitely want to have in mind, prominently placed. You can even do a welcome video in your community. One thing that I'm seeing in 2026 is that in especially larger groups, that they do this in kind of a democratic way where there is a session at the start where everybody agrees together on what the expectations should be, what the promo limits might be, and those types of things. Of course, that's going to depend on the size of your group, the time that you have, and the desire on your part to have that kind of input from your group. But I have seen it work successfully where the group works to implement its own rules and even police them to some extent. That can really reduce your workload and the workload of your team in managing your community. What we don't want to have happen is someone feel like they can't go into the community because it's an uncomfortable space, or they're hiding because they don't feel like they can safely be vulnerable in the group setting. And then ultimately they go to the payment processor and say, you know what, I really didn't get the full benefit of my bargain here. I want all or some of my money back because this group was a mess. So group dynamics can really contribute to the happiness or unhappiness of your clients. And if you've been watching for a while, you know that unhappy clients are the biggest source of legal drama in your business. So we definitely want to avoid that. All right, I hope this helps you see exactly what you need to be able to launch that group program, protect your paycheck, protect your community, protect your sanity, be sure that you can promote the people that are in the group, and be able to use those recordings and other materials that your guests may create for you. But I want you to stay tuned, because if you are having support coaches or guest experts, there's a whole bunch of other things that you need to know specifically about them that are too long for this video, but that can be a surprising source of legal exposure for coaches running these types of programs. So please like and subscribe if this video was helpful to you so you can let the world know and help other coaches find it. And head on over with me to the next video. Let's talk about the surprising legal benefits of having support coaches and guest experts.